Welcome to Modern Tactical Shooting. In this video, I'll be answering viewer questions from my small but stout following. In fact, I'm about to hit 500 viewers, so that is excellent. First milestone reached. And I'll be going over this Arsenal 107 that I used in competition for the first time. So let's go. All right, so before I answer viewer questions, let me cover this Arsenal 107 that I used for the first time in a gun match. It ran extremely well. I'm pretty happy with it, and I look forward to running it in a match again. I have two clips from the match. Now, in this first clip, you'll see I will do what I talked about in my first, AK in competition video part 1, and that is, if you watch in the clip, I am going to look far, and I'm going to shoot the farther targets first, and then the easier targets up close. That will allow me to shoot and move backwards, getting to my next point to trim down some time. So check it out in this clip.
We all know what it is.
All right, now in this second clip, I want to cover something that would seem obvious, but for first-time match shooters, regardless of skill level, it's something that is often forgotten to do, and that is changing your rate of fire to match how fast you can settle your sights on target. Now, obviously, with far targets, it's going to take a little bit longer for that gun to settle to get good hits, but then up close, you ought to be able to trust yourself, drive that gun, keep the sights on target, and blaze away. The habit that many first-time shooters get into, their first time shooting a match is they see all these targets and they end up shooting the same rate the whole time through because they're just thinking of all the targets in mass and not taking on the targets individually as they see them, and that affects their rate. Now, in this clip, you're going to see I'm going to start out shooting about medium distance targets halfway through the stage, and you can definitely tell when I change gears and I basically double my rate of fire, shooting as fast as I can on the easier targets. Now, one thing about all my match videos is I'm actually shooting for points. This is what's known as USPSA style scoring. The targets actually have perforations in them with scoring rings, so you got to get good hits. It's not three-gun scoring. We can just blaze 2 shots anywhere on the target to count. Otherwise, I'd be shooting a lot faster in my videos, but I am balancing speed and accuracy, so I need to get good hits to get those points. And you'll see that in this video, changing my rate of fire. Let's check it out. All right, time now to answer questions. Now, the first question I have is a more in-depth explanation of this RAM tactical magazine catch. Now, this RAM is all metal. It costs only $25. I'll put a link down below to where you can get the RAM on their website. You do have to drill out the pin that is in your original magazine catch. Not a big deal. Takes about less than 5 minutes. There are instructions that come in the RAM box for that. The hard part of installing the RAM is it says in the instructions that it takes minor fitting, and I would judge the task as major fitting. There was a lot of extra metal around the RAM catch, and I basically had to take the RAM magazine catch and lay the Zastava magazine catch on top of it, trace it with a Sharpie, and then get a Dremel and cut all that extra metal off. So I would count this job as major fitting, but really, if you're semi-proficient with tools, I think it's something you can do. And again, this RAM magazine catch offers plenty of purchase for extremely fast reloads. I'm not a big proponent of using another magazine to hook on the magazine latch and pop it out. That's something I don't think is very repeatable, especially when you're moving and shooting at a high rate of speed, or say shooting in low light or no light conditions. You have no tactile feel when you're just using another magazine to hook on the catch there's no good tactile sensation. I'd rather be able to put my thumb on there, 100% positive, 100% repeatable, and eject that magazine like you saw in the video clips there. So big proponent of oversized magazine latches on AK-47s. On, again, my 107, I have a barrel or barrel minor fitting. I actually have another one on the way. I have on order from K-Bar a Zastava M90 and 5.56 coming. Can't wait to mod it up and do a video, shooting all my drills with it. So look forward to that in the future. Now, speaking Zastava or Zastava, however you pronounce it, I probably do it wrong every video. I do want to give a shout out to my favorite Facebook group that covers all things AKs, and that is ZPAP, M70, M92, and now M90 group. It's a group you got to get invited to, but it's no big deal. And I found it's one of the best moderated AK enthusiast Facebook groups out there. Great bunch of guys in there, not a lot of attitudes, and overbearing personalities that are common in a lot of forums and groups that just make it unpleasant to interact with. I have not found that to be the case at all in the Zastava owners group. So it's a great source of information for all Serbian AKs and AKs in general. And every Sunday they do an Any Gun Sunday where you can post pictures about any gun you own, ask questions, and discuss any firearm in your inventory or any firearm you can think of. So it's a good place for general firearm information overall. Obviously, the emphasis is on Serbian pattern AKs, but great source of information. When I first got my ZPAP, that's one of the first places I joined and went to learn about modifications and get information on this M70 that I bought, because I didn't really know a whole lot at the time. I thought basically all AKs were AKMs at this point, and I didn't know the exact differences. But again, great site. I will post a link down for them down in my comments for this video so you can check them out. Again, great source of information on all things AK. All right, next question up is accuracy. How does my Arsenal 107 stack up against my ZPAP M70? And to test that, I group these guns at 100 yards. Of course, they have identical optics on here right now, primary arms microdots. And at 100 yards off of a rest, with Red Army standard non-magnetic ammunition, which is one of the brands I run in matches because most clubs do not allow bimetal ammo. I shot with both guns a dismal 5-round group that equaled basically 5 inches at 100. That's 5 MOA, and honestly, that's pretty weak. Switching ammo, I shot Wolf Poly Performance. Again, they're non-magnetic ammo, and that actually grouped much better with both guns. Basically a 3-inch group with both guns at 100 yards, 5-round string. And 3 inches with an AK, that's probably average. And with a red dot, I think that's pretty well, and I'm pretty happy with it. A 3 MOA bullet is gonna, easily hit small targets out to 300 yards and a man-sized target out to 500 yards. And fun fact, if somebody poo-poos your AK saying, hey, AKs aren't accurate, I've heard they shoot as much as 5 MOA. Here is a, fun fact. Anderson Army Depot that services the Army's M4s. In the last 10 years, they changed their acceptable accuracy standards of an M4 barrel from 2.5 inches roughly to a 5-inch group at 100 yards when they test it. And that's really dismal. And honestly, that's giving servicemen and women, that's dishonest to them, saying a 5 MOA gun is acceptable. That's basically, I think the military is just trying to save money on replacing barrels because, in the last 20 years, barrel life, guns are getting worn out because they're in combat. So instead of keeping that 2.5-inch standard, they stretched it to 5, so they'll get, longer life out of that barrel, and they don't have to replace barrels as often. And I think it's totally a cost-saving measure. 5 MOA is pretty dismal. At 300 yards, that's a 15-inch group. I would not be happy going into combat with an M4 that shoots 5 MOA, no matter what type of ammo you throw in there. So, somebody makes fun of your AK, just tell them, hey, look, if I got a 5 MOA AK, it matches what the Army's rolling with. Again, pretty weak, but those are the facts. All right, last question for this video has to do with the belt and the pouches I run in a few of my videos. Now, full disclosure here, this has to do with my ATS Skirmish belt and horizontal fast mag. I am a brand ambassador for ATS Tactical Gear. I've actually been affiliated with them since about 2010. I mentioned this in a previous video. I actually graduated the Q course back in 1998 with the owner, Michael Lose. So I know him personally, and again, brand ambassador, so full disclosure. Now, I get questions about specifically my horizontal fast mag pouch. Basically, this is an M4 pouch that you can mount horizontally to your kit. Right now, I'm running it on an ATS Skirmish belt. I actually helped prototype this pouch back in 2015 in Afghanistan. I wanted, one fast reload in SF. We call it the Happy Mag, and that's, the quickest reload you can get, or emergency reload if you need to grab a mag fast. And I was running this on the front of my ATS Aegis version 2 plate carrier at the time. And now I'm running one on here. And again, it's a horizontal mag, has a Kydex insert, which keeps friction retention on the magazine. I prototyped a Galil one. If you check out my videos where I'm running an ATS Galil, that prototype is currently on hold, but I'm happy to say that ATS is working on an AK-47 one. Soon as I get a prototype to test, you will for sure see it in videos. So look for that. Concerning this skirmish belt, for the longest time I was running an ATS 3-row Molly war belt. And about 3 years ago, they came up with this skirmish belt, which is basically a 2-row Molly, inner outer belt combo system, which really is all the rage right now. In the last, I would say, 5 years in the military, war belts, padded war belts have kind of gone the way of the dodo. Everybody is running an inner outer belt combo, which actually had been in use by law enforcement for the longest time. And the inner outer belt combo has been used in the competition world forever, and it's finally caught on with the military, and that's a good thing. So it's a 1.5 inch wide belt with a heavy duty Cobra buckle. This will accept Tech-Lock clips, and here I have a Raven concealment holster with their normal 1.5 with belt loops, and I have Bravo concealment mount pouches, so we'll work with their belt loops also. And even though most Molly pouches are made to fit through 3 rows of Molly webbing, you can squeeze it through the 2 rows, latch them all together, and it does lack up super tight. So I think these skirmish belts are the best thing going right now. And in the world of inner outer belt combos, it's also one of the cheapest setups out there. And I think it's a perfect blend between rigidity and flexibility. It's not too rigid, and it's firm enough. It will take the weight when this is fully rigged up with tons of pouches. It holds it just fine. So that is my ATS horizontal fast mag pouch on a skirmish belt. Okay, thanks for those questions. By all means, keep them coming. As always, I will have more videos in the future centered around drills. That's my thing. Again, I have a M90 coming from Zastava. I cannot wait to get that thing out on the range, so look for that in future videos. Now, as always, go out, hit the range. Enough of me talking. Go get your shoot on. And I'm Jeff Gerwich. Thanks for watching.